Hello and welcome, and today we will make a video for those who wish to replace their handlebars on flat bar bicycles. So even though it's obvious, I will note that it's not a video about replacing handlebars on road bikes that have those bent handlebars, but only for flat bar bicycles. And I will explain the worst case scenario in case everything gets as complicated as possible. And of course, sometimes you will just go a lot easier than this. So first thing, to note the tools that we will need for this job. You will need some kind of tool to loosen your levers of brakes or shifters in case this is hard to get off. In that case, I will show it in the video. So you might need some kind of, it's usually like this Allen wrenches, usually 5 or sometimes 4, sometimes 6, less often, or those Torx wrenches, and you will see which kind is on your bicycle, so prepare those. You might also need some kind of lever that doesn't scratch the bars. If you have some plastic or wooden small stick, or you can use something like this. It's just a regular screwdriver. Not sure if it can be caught on the camera. And I put some thermal like this that's used for electronics. It becomes smaller in diameter as it is heated, and so it's nice to occasionally replace it as it gets torn, but it prevents this from scratching the bars if you are sensitive about that. And that's in case if this is difficult to get off. In that case, you might want to just I will demonstrate it in the video. And you also might need something like this. This has worked fine for me. It's like some sort of glass cleaner, and it doesn't make anything be greasy or slide too much, but it quickly dries, but it helps in both removal and in mounting new bars, or sorry, not bars, but new handles on the bars. So that's as far as tools go, and now let's try to demonstrate this. And first thing, if this, you can try to move it off by hand. If you pull it by the end, okay, let's try to zoom in the camera so this can be seen better. You don't need to look at me. Okay. Now this won't always go easily if you try to pull it, but especially if you try to pull it at the end, because it gets narrower in diameter as you pull it apart. As you can see here, it sort of compresses, but if you push it from this side, it gets wider, and so it's easily taken off. The reverse process is when you are putting the new ones onto the bars. So that's the first thing I will try to just pull it off from here. In case this doesn't help, I can use this as a lever, or if you have an air compressor, you can just pop this up a bit, or use a tool like this to just pop it up a bit, then put compressed air here and it will just fly off. But if you don't have that at home, you will need to loosen. In this case, I will just loosen this brake lever. And for this brake lever, I'm not sure if it can be seen, it's Allen wrench 5 millimeters. So something like this, I can just loosen the lever. Okay, counterclockwise. Okay, it's loose now. So I can use it to exert force onto this and slowly slide it off. Now, sometimes these cables housing, whichever you have, might be too short to not allow you to push this far enough in order to remove it. In that case, you will need to loosen your bars of the stem. Depending on which way it is mounted, this particular procedure might be different. It varies, but this is the basic principle of how it's done. So it's loose, and now, in case I don't have enough spare play here to move, I will just push the bars. And here's the first problem: if you have anything else mounted on the bars, you will need to either remove it, or with bars that are held on like this, this can be completely disassembled and moved away, so the bars are free to go wherever they want, while some other models are like holding it around, so it can't be done as easily. Let me just show you that type of, well, here it is. If you have a stem like this, it will not be as practical because you can only just loosen it a bit, but you can't remove it completely. So in this case it's more complicated, and you will need to get some things off the bars. In this case, both this light holder and this shifter lever. So it can get a bit more complicated. But either way, this is one of the ways to do it. I will now tighten this back. Just a second. Just to hold it in place. I'll fine tune it later. And this is the way to tighten these bolts. The ones with 4 bolts are safer, because if one bolt breaks, you have 3 more to hold it, and these that only have 2 bolts are not as safe, because if one of these bolts breaks, then the bars are pretty much loose and you haven't got control on your bicycle. So this is not a very safe patent. I would not advise anyone to use something like this. And okay, so you have that option of using this as a lever. Another option is to use air compressor or just glass cleaning fluid, and just try and somehow, if this is very stubborn, just pull it apart and spray a bit inside so it can move off more easily, or in the worst case you can just cut it with a scalpel knife or something like that. You just chop it off and peel it off. Okay, here I'll demonstrate this procedure using this as a better lever, because it compresses from here and this moves easily. You can from time to time, if it's really stubborn and goes very slowly, just pull it here. Sometimes it doesn't move as easily as this, and then keep pushing from this side and pull a bit, and after a while it will pop off. Now to demonstrate if you just pull, if you don't push from this side, this one goes very easily, but generally it tends to stick, but if you push it, it goes off quite easily. Okay, now before I mount new levers, I wish to clean this up a bit so that the new levers don't slip. This has been used for many years, and dirt and sweat and even some grease, because my hands are often greasy. This is my bicycle and it gets inside, so I want to clean it. Okay, it's good now. And before I finally fine-tune these levers, I will first mount the new handlebars. And now how that is done? Well, these handlebars have these like wider grips for palm resting, and they are rather comfortable and quite cheap. This is like some $6 or something, and this is the make. In case you're interested, these are available in my country. They are reasonably priced with good quality. They're okay. Anyway, these are meant to be positioned like this. You can see by the writing here, and also when you look at them, because I'm explaining this because I saw people mount these like this way. So I don't know if it's comfier for someone to grip like this. I don't know, but it's intended to provide some rest for the palm and some, I don't know, to alleviate a bit the pressure. And this one has like a groove here, so when you hold it, there's room to make a full grip if you're using 2 fingers on your brake levers, so you can still hold the bars even though they have this part. So it's pretty neat, and it holds well even on rough terrain like off-road riding. Not all the bars made this way for comfort are easy to hold the bars when you're riding off-road. These one are okay, and they are pretty grippy, yet not too soft, not too hard. Anyway, so that is the way to orient them. If I put this on the right hand side, it would go with the wrong side up, with this curvature, and it's not providing any real support. So this is the way to mount them. Okay, now how will I put them on? First I want to lubricate this with the same glass cleaner. It's alcohol based, so it easily and quickly evaporates and doesn't make it all slippery and greasy for long. So I'm putting a liberal amount of it, and then I will try to just slide it on by pushing from this side, making sure to get it on and then just push it. It doesn't always go very smoothly, very easily. Like in this case, I will need to dry this because my hand is slipping. And now try to put it on. Do a bit of pushing to get them a bit wider, then pull. Alternating between the two until they are all the way reach the end, for as much as they would go. Things always look easy when they are shown on YouTube, but this is as difficult as it looks. I'm even sweating now a bit, but we'll get there. If you have problems like I do now, you can spray some more of the fluid to make it go easier and smoother. Okay, I think I've reached the end. I'm trying to feel it with my hand to see if the bars are beneath this during the whole length. If you use those end like parts on some mountain bikes, I see them, those bar end grips, or I'm not sure what the proper English term for that is. Most of these handles can be cut so that these can be moved even further inside to leave enough room for those bar ends. But in this case, this is the way I will use it. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to cut this against the bars. So now I will put them in position the way I do it when I'm riding, and I'm deliberately making this be a bit more up than it usually is during riding, because in my experience this tends to rotate a bit to the back under rider's weight. So I want to put them a bit more high and then let the lubricant dry, so after that they will more or less stick in place. There are more expensive models that have like some sort of grips that can be tightened by a screw, like this is tightened with a screw. So that's okay, they are in that case held better in place, but cost a lot more, and I just don't think it's, for my use, it's any worth paying that much more. Okay, now I've put them all the way I want them to. I did this one earlier, and now I need to set up, fine-tune my cockpit, and in this case I want to make this follow the angle of my arms as they are when I'm riding naturally. And since I use mostly just 1 or 2 fingers on the brakes, I want to move levers a bit further inside, so this can be done easily without going against my other fingers when I wear, especially when I wear some thicker gloves in the winter and so on. So I would make them like this, and this is a lot more convenient for me to work with. Okay, let's see, let's show what I'm doing. I'm not sure if it can be caught on the camera, but I'm trying to tighten this screw to hold them in place. That's what I'm doing. Okay. I think this is fine, more or less. Okay, they are not moving around. It's good. Now I wish to make this one using the similar angle. I'm using the bars as some sort of a gauge to make them identical or nearly identical. Okay, double check before tightening. It looks okay. I think that's it, and okay. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you if you were having trouble in replacing your bars. Cheers!